When you think of deep inner work, and especially letting go, there are many misconceptions around it, right? The first one is when you hear this term letting go, if you aren't familiar with what it means, if you aren't familiar with what I teach or my whole method, we tend to think, oh, just let it go, right? Hey, you got to become aware of what's running you and then just let it go. And people are like, well, I just got to think it, right? Just let it go. No, it's a lot more than that. Okay, you have to actually learn how to let go. It's very simple, but it is not easy to do, which is why literally I have a full system for this. But some other things is once you get it, okay, there's a system, there's certain steps that I can follow, practical steps to let go, there's still certain traps that people fall into and certain mistakes that they do. A common one is they believe that quantity equals results. So a question I'll sometimes get is, okay, Julien, I loved letting go. I'm even trying some of your letting go meditations. I have a question. If I do 5 letting go meditations a day, how long will it take? Now, from a logical perspective, it does make sense. You're like, well, I guess, right? Letting go and diving deep and mindfulness-based meditation helps. If I just do more of it, I'll get there faster. But here's the problem. It's not about quantity. Right? Doing a ton of meditations, it's about the quality of your meditation. Even this whole mindset too of I just want to rush through it and get it done, it's a very surface level approach which will prevent you from actually diving deep and truly feeling. It also labels indirectly what you want to let go of as something bad that must quickly be gone, meaning you're still resisting it and actually amplifying the resistance, and whatever you resist persists. So you're shooting yourself in the foot there. So for everyone here, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. One thing I personally do is I always combine specific letting go meditations with some other external practices. One that you learned here today is action, trigger, release, repeat. So what about sensing where I'm about to get triggered here, doing the action, get triggered, and then do the letting go meditation. That adds a layer where you go a little deeper into it than just working on the surface. Quality. The same with what I call following the trail of whys. Meaning, if we just take fear as an example, right? There are a million situations that might cause fear in your life. Well, you know what? I'm kind of scared of being loud because people might judge me. I'm scared of meeting new people because I could get rejected. I'm also, scared of speaking my truth. I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I'm scared of asking for that promotion at my job, because I don't want to get fired. So there's many situations at the surface. There's a famous term or the difference between what we call files and folders. All the specific surface level situations are the files. And you can work on them, sure, where you take every specific situation that scares you and you do a specific letting go meditation around fear. But what's actually more powerful is, instead of doing a release around all the files, identify the folders. And you do this by following the trail of whys. So say you take a situation, if I'm a bit loud, I might get judged. Well, why is getting judged scary? Why is it scary? And then you try to sink deeper. You're like, well, if I'm judged, I could get rejected. Why is that scary? Why is rejection scary? Well, if I'm rejected, I could be alone. So this is a simplified example, but notice how we went 2 layers deep. I'm afraid of speaking up. Files. I'm afraid of being rejected. I'm afraid of being alone. So say you do now a meditation around the fear of being alone, what happens? You're tapping into the folder. The fear of being alone, once you actually process it, all the external situations, all the files get processed as well. It's like bunching them together in certain themes. Does that make sense? Because the fear of being alone will hold you back, when it comes to expressing yourself, but in many other areas of your life. So a good practice is follow the trail of whys. Why? And don't just stay at the surface, right? Why is putting yourself out there scary? Because I'll get rejected. Why is that scary? Because people won't like me. Well, that's the same thing as being rejected. You're just using different words. Okay, why is people not liking you scary? Because they won't approve of me. So notice you can say stuck at a level. So it's always challenge yourself to go deeper. Beyond that too, there's a whole array of different exercises and processes that can bring things up to tap into this quality of letting go. But this is ultimately how you truly do this work. I wish it was as simple as doing a ton of letting go meditations. I wish it was as simple as also just breathing into what you're feeling in the moment, but it isn't. That's also key. People sometimes think, okay, well, I'm just going to breathe into when I feel anxious. Okay, I'm going to breathe. Yeah, I'm letting go, right? Yes, but you're never truly tapping into the reservoir. And this is key. Say, and everyone has this, by the way, you have a big reservoir within you that's filled up with a lot of anger. All right? This is all the anger. The reservoir is full. We have many. Reservoir of fear, reservoir of desire, neediness, you name it. That's just been piling up over our lives. Things that we're just kind of stuffing in there. When something gets activated in the present moment, my favorite example is you're cut off in traffic. Right? You'll see crazy reactions, like someone will cut you off, and then people start screaming and going nuts. In that moment, you could argue that, if you just breathe into that anger of someone cutting you off, you're just processing, like someone cutting you off is like that little extra drop here that made the thing overflow. And what you're processing is just the drop. But you never actually touch the reservoir. And if you're just breathing in the moment, you're just processing all the little drops. Or it's that famous saying, right? It's the straw that broke the camel's back. You're just getting rid of the little straws, but the reservoir is still there. Now, if you want a funny story, which just came to mind around being cut off in traffic, this happened to me a couple months ago. It's a true story. No point to this story, but it's just a fun one, crazy one. I was driving my daughter to daycare, and it's the same route I always take. And as I was driving, we're approaching the daycare where I just have to make a left turn, and then it's about 2-3 blocks and the daycare is there. So I'm in the car, and there's this car in front of me. It's a black Chevy, right? Kind of one of those longer, bigger cars. And I remember at the light kind of looking at it, I'm like, that car's pretty cool, and they changed the tires, so it's just black rims and stuff. And I also noticed there's no license plate. Now, I didn't think anything of it. There are a lot of cars without license plates. Maybe they're changing it, who knows? Maybe it's some person who just wants to be pretty cool and hip without it. So I'm like, okay, so anyway, we turn. And then we drive a bit, and there's a red light, so the car stops, and there's a bit of construction, but no people around. And I'm like, okay, turns green, the car drives a bit, and then immediately stops. So I have to stop right behind it. It's poof, like a quick stop. And I look, I'm like, are you okay? To my daughter. And I'm like, well, I guess maybe someone from the construction site walked out or something. And then I see the car just kind of pull and just block the road. So I'm like, well, here we go. And a guy comes out who looks very much like someone who would be part of a gang. Comes out, reaches in his back pocket like that, and I'm like, oh man, nothing I can do now. And he's like, why are you following me? Why are you following me? Hey, why are you following me? So in that moment, I'm just like, give the basic information to show that you are not a threat. Most likely this person is transporting guns or drugs, you name it, thinks that I'm following him and I'm probably some kind of authority or competing gang member. Meanwhile, I'm just some dad in his pajamas driving his daughter to daycare. So later I'm like, I'm just driving my daughter to daycare, just driving to daycare. It's right there. He's like, why, what? It was intense. Anyway, finally got back in his car and drove off, and everything was fine. He did take a picture of my license, so if I do happen to die one night, remember this. If this is on YouTube, remember this. It was him. Again, no point to this story, but it added some spice to my day. But back to road rage. This whole idea, so once more, it's don't just process the drop, identify the reservoir. And for that, it's also where you must combine this with different practices to bring things up into your awareness. Back to there's what you know, there's what you don't know, and there's what you don't know you don't know. And you need to know how to bring it up and then give the quality of time. Yeah, real fast.
In that situation, how did your daughter react and how would you...
She didn't notice.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. If she was older and then noticed, it'd be very different. But I actually teach her the exact same things I teach all of you here. Now, I don't get extremely detailed. She's 3. I'm like, so listen, there's a reservoir, and there's your conscious and subconscious. But no, I do teach her for a big part, 1, breathing into what you feel, which is quite important. No one teaches us this. I also try to communicate to her as much as I can that whatever you're feeling, it's okay to feel it. Then as she gets older, I'll get more analytical and teach her how to let go and give her access to all of my courses for a discounted price. No, but no, I try to kind of instill that in her, right? Because if you think of just how, 1, we tend to be conditioned, especially when we're feeling emotions that we label as bad or unacceptable. Like say you're sad, it's very easy, and actually can be a reflex due to our conditioning, to go up to someone, like say you're sad, I'm like, hey, there's nothing to be sad about. Why are you sad? Here, you should smile. Look, everything's fine. Be happy, don't be sad. Now, although from one perspective, you're like, well, it's okay, it's good advice. On a deeper level, what is that telling your child? What is that telling the person? That what they're feeling isn't okay. They shouldn't be feeling what they're feeling. Well, then if I'm sad, feeling sad is unacceptable, it's bad. And some disowning happens. What do you actually want to hear if you're a child and you're sad? It's, hey, it's okay to feel what you're feeling. No, for real, that's actually what we all want to hear. Like imagine next time you feel really down, or even in life you're stressed out. You're like, oh, my job and this and the future and society, and I don't know what's going to happen. Someone just said, hey, it's okay. You can feel that, and I'm going to be here with you as you feel it. Not trying to change it, just this present energy of just being acknowledged and not being alone just in that experience. So just incorporating that, it's okay to feel it, versus jumping to try to change or fix, which is something's broken in me. Very powerful effect. I'll also try to encourage a lot of personal authority, because this can also create people pleaser tendencies, where say my daughter creates some art project at school and brings it home, and she's like, look, right? What's a default response? That's so great. You're the best artist. Oh my God, you're so smart. You're so talented. Oh, that's so good. Seems good, right? Everyone's like, yeah, well, it's better than saying that sucks. You could call that art? It's much better. But then what does it also do on the conditioning level? It means, well, now, she's like, well, if I do good art, I'm now great. So I need to keep chasing this and being this people pleaser of chasing great. As opposed to, instead of jumping to say you're so great, which you could feel, what about asking her, whoa, how do you feel about this? And having it come from her. So you know what? I'm proud of myself. I like that I did this. And then you're like, me too, and you validate it. Well, then it's teaching her to not always look externally for, is this okay? Is this okay? Do you like it? Do you like it? Hey, what about me? What about asking yourself, do I like it? So there's little things like that you can start earlier on. The same with the deep breaths, right? So here's another thing to keep in mind, and I'll even link it back to road rage. In terms of how we handle unacceptable emotions, or emotions we label as bad, or painful emotions, there are a few ways. One way is expressing them, right? Expressing them, which is in road rage, someone cuts you off, you're just like, get out of the way, do you know how to drive? Just yelling, screaming, insulting, right? Who here had that? Someone cuts you off, and I think there's even a Louis C.K. comedy bit where he makes fun of this, where he's like, the vocabulary you have in your car is very different than in person. Like someone cuts you off, you're like, you motherfucker. Like it just, you say the most violent stuff, but you would never say that face to face to someone in person. But because it's a car, it's not as personalized that it changes completely. But people will go nuts, right? So the strategy there is, I'm mad, but I think that if I scream out the anger, I'll feel better, right? Or it's the same as, I'm mad, I just want to punch a wall. I want to express it out. That can give you temporary relief, but it never gets to the cause. Remember this, if expressing it led to inner peace, then every single angry driver would be enlightened. Does not work. So, boom, not about expressing it. The next one is about escaping it. And this is a lot of what we do here today in our society. We do live in this society of escapism, where you can audit how much time do you actually spend being with yourself without trying to escape or distract yourself. Can you actually sit down as a very basic exercise for 10 minutes alone and just do nothing and just be? Right? You're like, yes. I mean, it also shows like you most likely also done a lot of work, aware of this. You're like, well, yes. But for most people, that's torture. They're like, what do you mean, without my phone? Without the music or the TV? You could think of this whole escapism. It's gotten so crazy, by the way, where most people now, it's a trend that happened in the past few years, most people are unable to watch a movie or a show without also being on their phone at the same time. One screen is not enough. Just the movie. I need to also be scrolling through TikTok at the same time and go back and forth and text people. So we're just overloaded with these distractions. You get home after work, I need some music, I need to scroll the web, I need some YouTube, I need some audiobooks, I need to read a book, I need to call a friend. You can't just be alone. So escaping it never works, never gets to the cause. You can distract yourself as much as you want, that's still there. Next one is numbing it. And this is where I don't feel good, but instead of expressing it or pretending it like it's not there and escaping it, I'm going to try to change the feeling through numbing. This could be done through drinking, smoking, drugs, or even eating. Right? If you think of even binge eating, you're not even eating because you're hungry, you're eating to change how you feel. I don't feel good, but maybe this will make me feel better. Same with drinking. If I just drink and sink below consciousness, I numbed it. If I just do drugs and there I'm focused on those new feelings, then I don't feel the anxiety and the pain, etc., etc. No. And this is what everyone does. And this is how, again, we tend to also be taught and raised and conditioned. Instead, let go. And by let go at a fundamental level, it means, you could say letting go, we tend to also think it's getting rid of, but you're letting go of the resistance around it. You're letting go of attachment and resistance. In reality, letting go means accepting unconditionally, being with unconditionally. So the more, linking to, say, raising a child, I'm able to communicate to my daughters like, hey, be with what you're feeling. Be with it. Feel it. Don't resist. Don't say this is good, this is bad. I'm slowing down the buildup of the reservoir. Make sense? So you slow it down. Now, some will still get added, because that's just the human experience. And then I'll teach her later on exactly how to let go. And if you have a massive reservoir built, it's not too late. You have to realize this through one model and then learn how to let go. Again, simple but not easy. But those are really some of the key mindsets here. Don't let the reservoir build. And then even in terms of, say, experiencing trauma, and this is important when it comes to parenthood specifically. A lot of people ask me, like, well, what about trauma with your kids? How are you going to protect them from trauma? Now, I'm going to do whatever I can to protect them, but I am not going to shelter them. So let this land. Trauma is something that every single person experiences. Now, as we said, violence, abuse is traumatic. Protect them from that. But even if you create the safest environments based on their limited perspective, there's going to be times where things are too overwhelming or they think, this is threatening my survival, and they disown. That's just going to happen. And if you think of the mechanism, too, of disowning or suppressing and repressing, it is a survival mechanism. It's a coping mechanism that also serves an important purpose. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Like if you were forced into a situation that's too overwhelming for you to handle, that's how you coped versus not coping at all. So that will happen. If you think of, say, even how animals experience this, a great book I'd recommend reading is Waking the Tiger by Peter Levine. And an example that I'll give you, which he talks about in the book, he studies a lot of trauma when it comes to PTSD and also links it to nature and animals. And let's just say a very general example is, say you take a deer being attacked by a bear. Right? So There's the deer and the bear's coming at you, and say the deer's cornered. We always hear fight or flight, right? Can the deer fight the bear? Yes, no? No. If it's cornered, can it flight, run away? No. So when you take away those two options, there is freeze. And that's the state where you dissociate. So the deer's gonna be like, okay, the bear's coming, and it'll play dead. And on one hand, it's like, that's all you can do. Like, say this bear's coming at you. It's like, I can't, you're just gonna be like, I'm not here. And you'll kind of disconnect and withdraw from reality and feeling. Now, the playing dead might also tell the bear, like, okay, maybe I'll walk away. But say the bear were to even rip the deer to shreds, limb by limb, it'll hurt less because you're disconnected from feeling to a certain degree. Now, that there, if there's nothing you can do, it's better than, I'm going to be present, rip it off. It's a healthy strategy to cope with it. Is the situation ideal? No, but better that than nothing. Now, here's what happens with animals, though. Say the bear walks away. So the deer's playing dead. You'll see the deer get up. And although it's playing dead, it's like pent up, it's charged, it's like nervous system's active. It'll get up and it'll start shaking it off uncontrollably, discharging all that energy, and then just going along its day. We go through the same thing. The problem, though, is unlike animals, we never shake it off. Which is why, once more, best song of all time, Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Deep meaning there, deep messages. So that's why the thing piles up. We're like that deer that gets up, and we're like, I'm fine. Then another bear comes. I'm so fine. And then your entire life is just building and building and building and building. So when I say protect, I mean I'm going to protect my child, but I don't want to create this sheltered, safe space, because then you're delaying the inevitable. It's like growing up in this sheltered environment, and then they venture out, and then the trauma will happen then, the two overwhelming experiences. So you want to protect them, but ultimately they will face experiences that are too overwhelming. And this is my unique perspective, and you can agree or not, but I'm going to be there to guide her and support her, but more importantly, I'm going to teach her how to shake it off right after it happens, and prevent, once more, the buildup as best I can. Get it? So all of this, keep it in mind, but then apply it to you, and remember, it's not too late. Okay, you have a buildup now, great. Start processing it. Start diving into it. Resist the urge to do all this and start letting go. And you can also audit back to quality, not quantity. The times where you want to do one of these three the most is the best time to actually do a letting go meditation. Because in a way, it's also how you cope with getting triggered. You might be sitting at home, oh, something's bubbling up. It doesn't feel too good. Oh, I'm going to escape it with some TV. Ooh, I need a drink. I'm a little stressed. I need a drink. Well, instead of going that route, if it's up here, let go of it. Catch it and let go. And then what I personally do when it comes to letting go is I do specific guided meditations where it sounds a little crazy, but I listen to my own voice. Why? Because when letting go, it's really about feeling, not thinking. You don't want to engage the mind. So if I'm at the same time trying to feel and let go and guide myself through it, it's too much thinking. So I delegate that to a guided meditation where I don't think at all. I just let myself be guided and I feel, let go, let go, let go. And then back to files versus folders, I have a whole system where there's specific letting go meditations for different levels, different folders. Going from, and you might have seen this in some of my videos online, apathy, grief, fear, anger, courage, desire, purpose, and love. That's the whole scale of transformation. And even when I coach my clients, what I do is, because I don't know you, I don't know what you're stuffing down, I don't know what's running you. Like all of you here, you could ask me like, Julien, give me advice. I don't know. And no one can, because they are not you. You are the only person who's lived your life, and only you can discover what's in this reservoir. No one can ever tell you. But I can put you in specific situations that might trigger things within you. So say we take all those levels, those folders, I can see, well, where's apathy perhaps running your life? Where's grief perhaps running your life? Where's fear perhaps running your life? Here's some exercises, here's some missions. Some might be introspective, some might trigger you. And then with that information that gets triggered, that comes up, we can then talk about it, break it down. You have specific meditations that hit on that, And this whole process, game changer. It's like taking person after person and having them walk this path that is triggering the entire way through, going through the different levels, talking about it, and coming out on the other side changed. And you could even think of, as a human, right? It's like going through this rite of passage. You all do growing up, going from being a child to being an adult on the external level, but very few people go through a rite of passage internally. You change on the physical, you never change on the inner. And if right now you've exhausted a lot of the different techniques or whatnot on the external, and life's still not going your way, then the work has to be done inside. And then also to realize that in life there are two games that are being played. The most popular one is outward in. If I change what's out here, it's going to change how I feel in here. If I get enough people to love me, I can love myself. If I get one person to really love me, then maybe I can love myself. If I become successful out here, I can feel successful in here. No. Drop that. That's how most people have been operating. That's how I operated most of my life, by the way. Instead, the other game is inward out. Change what's in here and see what happens in terms of how it changes the external. And once more, if you're at that point, you're just spinning your wheels, or even say success, you're making money, you have friends, all that stuff. We talked about earlier, you could have a big group of friends, even in a relationship, yet you still feel lonely inside, then it's time to shift it. Because guess what? If you're getting, quote unquote, results in all areas of life, but you're not enjoying those results, then they're not results. And people try to kid themselves. Like, look at all the money, but I'm miserable. Well, then what's the money then? It's not a result if you're still miserable and you're not enjoying it. I'm in a relationship, but I'm all paranoid and I'm worried they're going to leave me and cheat on me and I'm going to be alone again. Then you're not even enjoying the relationship. So if that's you, put your ego aside and decide to dive deep. And when you do the inner work, that's the real work. That's the scary work. We tend to, again, mainstream label is people who are into inner work and spirituality, they take the easy way. They just want to sit in their room. They don't want to take any action and challenge themselves. No, if you do it right, facing those inner demons, facing that darkness is scarier. Like opening the closet and facing fear's bluff, there's no monster, is much scarier than any kind of external action you could take.